We are the PiggyBankApp group, and we are in our final year of our Masters of Information Systems program. This is our capstone project for the year 2023. So we are going to have an introduction of our team members and an introduction of the problem and the solution that we created and the outcomes of it. And then we'll have a demo of how we implemented our core components and design, and a demonstration by a target persona. And then we'll move on to the evaluations, analysis, and lessons learned. So our team consists of Mitch Rogers and Jonah Duffin, Elijah McKay, and I'm Jen Almond. And those are our roles in this team. And one of the reasons that we liked this project specifically, this is going to be a money tracking app mainly for parents of kids. And the reason why this is an important one for us is because almost all of us are parents or are planning on being parents at one point, and we want to teach our kids good financial principles. And one of the problems that I've faced is last summer, we took our family and kids to Europe for the summer, and for the whole year before that, they were earning money and then on the trip spending money. And the way that I tracked that was with my notepad on my phone, and it got very confusing, and we thought there's probably a better way to do this. And so we decided to build an app to help.
Yeah, so just like Jen was saying, her experience with keeping track of her finances or her kids' finances on her app wasn't isolated. In our preliminary findings, we found that most parents would use some form of just write it down and then lose it. So Excel, sticky notes, or just cash and not even worry about it. So we wanted to create a solution for that, which we decided that the best course of action would be to create a simple application using Swift and a Firebase database, combining the two to create an alternative for parents to empower them and enable them to be able to track their kids' finances, and also use it as a tool to help them teach their kids about financial principles. So our outcomes and design components that we wanted to implement were first, like the kind of outlay of the app was just having a parent's dashboard where they can add their kids and then add transactions, add money into their different child's accounts. And what we came up with was just quick transactions. So something something they could just pull up, very easily add or subtract money from the kid's account that shows the kid or shows their children how many or how much money they're spending, how much they're earning, and where they're at on their financial goals, which is another one of our core design components. Something that we found through our kind of mid-semester feedback was that a lot of parents thought it would be awesome to have this auto distribution tool set up. So when they go in and create an account for their child, they can set up, okay, we want 10% to go to charitable donations, or every time they earn money, we want 30% of that money to go into their savings account, which they're able to set up for each child depending on that child's understanding of the different financial principles. And then again, it's just a financial literacy tool that helps parents not only keep track of their kids' money in an organized way, but also helps them teach their child financial principles in a simple, easy manner. So I'm going to turn the time back over to Jen to kind of run you through the implementation of all these things and the demonstration and show you how that all came together.
Great. So now I'm going to show you some of our main features and components and talk about some of the user feedback that we implemented. So here's the welcome page of our app. We're going to sign in. And we're going to create a very secure password. As you can see, very secure. They do match. And a PIN. Now, the PIN was one of the features with the user feedback that we got questions about, and so we added this information button. The PIN is not used to log in, it's used within the app when you need to add or subtract money so that the kids can't just go in and add and subtract money willy-nilly. You actually have to have a PIN to be able to do that. We'll create that user. Oh, I already used this account. Let's put a Gmail and create user. Okay, let's get started. Let's add a kid. My oldest daughter's name is Kate. She goes by Kitty Kate. Her PIN here is explained why we need that. This is going to be, her PIN is going to be used to log into her dashboard. The spending account is going to be the main account for spending. That's the primary account I'm going to set up. We're going to add $50 to it, and we're going to do some advanced settings. The information here, the interest, you can see that. The interest is parent paid interest, and on a spending account, I'm going to let her earn 5% up to $10 a month. I'm not going to worry about an auto distribution rule right now because I'm going to show how to do that a little bit later. Let's create that kid. And let's add one more. My other son's name is Braden. He's my basketball star, and he needs a different PIN. And he is my special needs son. And so I'm not worried about teaching him advanced financial principles. I just want to teach him basic ones. So I'm not going to do the advanced settings. So now you can see I have the two kids. If you look at my profile, they're both right here. And you can see their starting balances are on the transactions. Now, if I'm going to go into Kate's account, I'm going to put in her PIN. And you can see that this is her dashboard. To get started, let's add a goal. The goals was one of the main unique features that we decided to implement because none of the apps that users are using right now, if they were using an app, had an option for a goal. So we decided that this would be one of the unique features that we would add, and it would teach some financial principles because it gives kids something to work towards. Let's add another goal. This one's going to be called nail kit, and it's about $40 for a nail kit, and we're going to set that to low priority. Now you can see that she has about 25% towards the dog, but she does have 100% towards the nail kit. So let's go on to this one, and let's say she wants to buy it. Are you sure you want to buy it? And this is going to help us to teach financial principles. If she saves her money, she can earn this much based off of the interest that the parent inputted as part of the setup. This is how much she would have in a year if she saves. So let's save or buy it. Well, let's go ahead and buy it. So that takes the goal off of the goal carousel, and it subtracts the money from the spending and balance. And if we show more, we can see that she purchased her goal of a nail kit. Now let's add an account. Let's add a savings account. This is a sub account, and we're going to call it savings, and we're going to say for future use. And let's set a higher interest rule for this one. We want to earn 10% up to $20 a month. This can help teach kids the different interest rates, and parents can use that as a tool to teach their kids interest principles, especially compounding interest. Here's where I'm going to go ahead and set up the auto distribution. So it'll take a percentage of earned money and automatically deposit it into this savings account anytime she earns money. I want a custom amount. I want her to auto distribute into this account 20% anytime she earns money. Sorry, I was fumbling with my words there. So now when she earns money, say she earns $25. Now you can change this and put some of it into, or put all of it into savings. But if we just put it into spending, because we set up the auto distribution rule, it's going to put some of it into savings. So it put 20 of it here, and we can see that here. So she earned $25, 5 of it went into savings. And so this is the main kids dashboard that we can use to teach our children basic financial principle, including savings and interest and working towards goals. And if I go back to my profile, I can see all those transactions here. And then in settings, this is going to be your basic settings information that just shows you your settings. You can change passwords and PINs. You can manage interest rules and just kind of manage the account from there. And then next, we're going to show one of our main personas that we are targeting using the app. All right, so this is Katie, and she is our target persona because she is a mom of 2 beautiful boys, and they're at the ages where she'd like to teach them some financial principles. So Katie's gonna show us some of her favorite features about the app. She was one of our user testers this weekend, and so she's just gonna guide us through some of her favorite things.
Okay, so like Jen said, my boys are 9 and 12, and so they're big enough now where understanding and having an idea of how to be financially independent versus financially dependent on credit cards is really important to our family. So we have set up 2 accounts, one for Sam, one for Jared. We can track and see what they're spending and what they're earning. And I like that on my side of it, like I can see kind of the registers to view like the transactions, whether they've earned something and whether they've just done a job to get it and they're waiting for it to be approved. Let's take a look real quick. This is my oldest. His name is Jared. So he has a spending balance of $37.50. I like the way that I can see what his goals are. It helps him to understand how to save and how to invest in his own future, and how to invest in long-term or short-term goals. So some of his short-term goals are to get a Switch game. He's waiting for Zelda to come out. He wants to go to Disneyland, and Legos are always a priority to him. So down here, I like that I'm able to track kind of the chores he's doing, holidays or money gifts. I like that it also breaks it out, and I'm able to set it up where I can see some of the transfers, as well as we can see together that it's set up to pull out money every time he earns something to put into his college fund.
So go ahead and click on the college fund and we'll show people.
Okay, so right here it shows that $13 of this is going to college fund. He receives 10% of all earned money that will automatically go in. All I have to do is just like transfer. I can pick how much we want to transfer of it, write a little memo, and then I submit it. So I'm just going to put, we're going to put $10 in, and this is for, I'm just going to put in for his savings.
You'll just have to switch the bottom one to the savings account. There you
So
go.
we're going to switch it to college fund from spending money. So it's works just like my checking account. So I'm able to see it's going from spending to his savings, and it shows automatically when it's been deducted from what he actually has. I like this. I think it's really savvy. It's really quick. It's able to show him, you know, how he's able to spend and earn his money. And we can always add goals, which I like. Overall, I think the app is pretty good. It's helping them kind of see it, and my kids are very visual learners, so being able to see a goal, not only just see it, but see it like come to fruition where they can kind of see some of their money building towards the things they really want, makes it worth their time to like check their app and to make sure that they're on target, because as soon as that circle fills up, they're able to see like, hey, I've accomplished that. And I think that's a great way to give them both like the visual support with the money and financial learning that they'll need, which will set them up for success when they get older.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, Jen, for that demonstration. So as we were building this out, we had our users test some of the use cases, and our core use cases for the app, like creating account, creating kids, and then transferring money to and from, were primarily the tasks we had our users test. And so through the evaluations of these testers, that's kind of what we had them do. And in order, we had our 2 measurables for quantifiable, like quantitative data and qualitative data on the next slide. The quantitative data, as you'll see in our analysis, highlights some of the features and the satisfaction of those features, as well as doing the surveys with the parents that we had test our app, provided some qualitative feedback and some data for us as we were continuing to build out our solution. measuring kind of the ease of use, the simplicity, how engaged a kid would be, and then highlighted some of our novelties and core components in that. I've talked about it, but parents kind of being our core, our primary personas in our target market. So on the next slide, what we really targeted was parents that had kids from about 4 to 15, when parents started to want to teach their kids financial principles, so they start to understand how money works in the world. So our app focuses on being simple for parents to track, but also helps kids learn about money.
Thanks, Mitch. So now we're going to go over some of the results from that user testing that we conducted. And our results were pretty good, and they showed some favor towards the PiggyBank app compared to the current alternatives that parents were using. So we did kind of like A/B testing, where a parent would do a task using their current system, whether that was like paper or Excel or whatever they were currently using, versus our app. And on the right there, you can see each of those kinds of tasks and the performance of their current system versus the PiggyBank app. And in every single task that we provided, our app outperformed whatever their current system was. Interesting kind of observation is they weren't necessarily like totally dissatisfied with whatever their current system was, but there was a significant improvement. And you can see that with our last metric, so that it shows that 88% of users preferred our app to their alternative and said that they would like to continue using our app, or they would switch if this were a solution that was available to them. That is all based on just our final round of testing, which we did with 17 households. So finally, let's talk about the lessons that we learned through this process. I think the first and most important was to really look through the lens of our user persona. We actually became aware of this after our first round of testing, where we conduct a lot of qualitative feedback. And this was the feedback that we got from users was, hey, this is too complicated. You're kind of using language for bank accounts and stuff like this. I don't think that, my kid would understand this. And so we took a step back and we're like, okay, well, this is for parents to communicate with their kids about finances. And we took that feedback and iterated and improved on it. So that was a core takeaway for us. Another thing that we heard a lot from our users was security is a big concern. It's kind of funny because this app doesn't deal with any real money. It's all fake. But helping a user feel secure about this, financially related system was very important takeaway that we got from our users. A couple more related to our tech stack is don't be afraid to ditch a technology or strategy that doesn't work. So for us, about halfway through our project, we were using a relational database, and we found that it really just didn't suit our data and our application development very well. So we made the switch to a NoSQL database and started using Firebase about halfway through. So we had that, sunk cost fallacy where we were afraid to make the change, but we found that, being willing to just ditch something for a better path, it sped up our development. Kind of relates to our last lesson was that laying a good foundation of the data and kind of the structure of the app before we go all willy-nilly developing features made development so much faster. So we kind of had developers writing things that would break other features, and just the app didn't work very well cohesively. But when we kind of collaborated more and just like got the bare bones of the app, a really good solid foundation to build of those features on, it helped us develop much quicker. So that sums up our lessons. And thank you for your time. We learned a lot from this app. We really enjoyed it, and we hope that this can be something meaningful to parents.